I like to bring everything together. I'm kind of the same way. I like to see how everything's interconnected and how our relationship with animals and with ourselves and between men and women and with nature, and how it's all related, and how when we heal one aspect, we help heal all those aspects.
Yeah, I mean, you talk in your book about how we've kind of lost our sense of being able to make connections.
Right.
like
Yeah,
we
that's
can't make these connections, and there's so
yeah,
much that we don't see. I mean, it's not just the animals. Like the animal would be one thing, like we can't where nobody knows how their meat got to their plate, nobody knows how their fish got to the
right.
plate, or nobody knows about dairy. I shouldn't say no, but if they do, then they cut it off. We don't know where our clothes come from. We're just not making these connections, and I don't know if it's because we're so busy, or it's the materialism, I think, that you're talking about, that's very
Right.
luring.
Yeah, it's very alluring, and it's in a certain way. I think we're told that we shouldn't go there. I mean, the underlying subtext of every meal really is, if we're eating animal foods, is let's not think about where this came from, right? I mean, really. I mean, we if on Sunday morning we're sitting down at a breakfast and we're eating bacon, and someone says, "Well, let's think about what the pig went through." You couldn't eat the bacon, right? I mean, the misery and the violence and the hyper confinement and the terror and the fear and the pain that poor animal went through, you're not going to talk about it. Nobody talks about it. If someone tried to broach that subject on Sunday morning before church, they'd be looked at like you're crazy. So the thing is that meals are our most intimate connection with our society and with nature. So if we're going to insist on not making the connection there, then that's the template. We just create that template of no connect, don't connect. Let's stay shallow. Let's not look deeply. Let's not feel deeply. Let's not care deeply. Because 3 times a day, these are rituals.
Mm-hmm.
Anthropologists understand that meals are the most powerful indoctrinatory rituals in any society. When we're eating food, we're eating the whole underlying set of attitudes and the constellation of norms and values in our society. The food contains that. So if we're eating dead animals, it tells you everything you need to know about our relationship with nature, really. I mean, but we don't want to think about that because it creates this cognitive dissonance and also affective dissonance. It's like, we're good, kind, loving people. We don't want to think that we're causing that kind of violence and misery and terror to these animals. So we just don't go there. We just go into denial.
Right.
And my PhD at Berkeley, I focused on intelligence and education. It was in education, but part of it was on intelligence. And intelligence is the capacity to make relevant connections. So if you have a ritual that everybody's engaging in, where we just practice the art of disconnecting with every meal, we get really good. Right? That's what Charles and Myrtle Fillmore always emphasize. They say that unity is the church of practical Christianity. We're going to practice this. So if we're practicing connecting, then we're practicing increasing our intelligence, not just our cognitive intelligence, but really our emotional intelligence, our spiritual intelligence. It's all about making connections, seeing how things relate, feeling our connectedness with something more than just the little mask that we're wearing. But when we have, unfortunately, in a society where everyone practices disconnecting, it's like practicing deception or practicing anything. You'll get good at it. But do we really want to be good at being unintelligent and being deceptive and being disconnected? It makes us easily manipulated. It makes us very gullible. It disempowers us.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what we're really wrestling with now more than ever, is the tendency for us to yearn to not know. I don't want to know. If I say to people, would you like to know where your bacon comes from? They typically say, no. Where your cheese comes from? No, I'd rather enjoy my cheese.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
it's
don't want to know.
being willing to know.
I don't
Yeah,
know. And it's the same thing happens with pedophilia or, child
right.
abuse. And we don't want to know. We don't want to know. I don't want to hear that. Don't want to know. I just need to bear down and live my life. But I really feel like as we evolve into our divine selves, if we're on the spiritual path and we really want to be our authentic divine selves, then we want to know everything. We want to know where we're living and what is going on. And then we can be in divine action. But if we don't know, then we're just kind of pretending, and we're kind of cut off from love and peace and all of the things that are values of the spiritual person.